Good evening, everyone. Welcome to closing comments here on January 29th. Let's jump right into our charts and see what happened in the markets today. First up, we got our April live cattle on the board. We did see this live cattle market jump out to a nice start here this morning. Prices opening up and having a nice rally up there towards 239.72. However, the bulls just ran out of gas here and ended up selling off here into the late part of the day. Opening range breakout, rallying up there towards the high of the day before selling off. We did see this market steadily grind lower throughout the remainder of the day. However, we still have a pretty equal distribution of volume over this week's trade so far. We still expect to see the down here near the low end of this value area, buyers to step in and continue to be aggressive down here near 236, 237. We should see some buyer support step in here early tomorrow. However, if we do just get some momentum carry over from today's session below today's low, we could see this thing kind of just settle back down here towards our averages and try and retest that 235.5 mark once again. In the meantime, though, this big picture uptrend still remains intact, and we should see the upside continue. Just seeing a nice sloppy, choppy march up here at the moment over the last couple days. Market's still trading above our major moving averages and still hanging out up here in bullish territory, so we should see some upside continue here over the next couple weeks. We just want to see the bulls try and take this market back to the upside and finish this week on a high note back up there towards the 240 mark. Over to the March feeders now. We did see early upside in this market as well. Prices rallying up there off that opening range before settling back onto the lows of the day. Prices finishing down there near 365. At the moment, if we do see this market continue below today's low, we could see this thing get marked down back here towards 362.15. The current week's point of control here is going to be a spot we'd expect to see the buyers step back in and continue to offer some support. So if this market does pull back down here towards 362, 363, we should see some buyers step in and offering support here. But in the meantime, we should see this big picture uptrend continue to play out. We still have good upside on potential on the board here, and we are just not far off from that overhead gap. So look for the bulls to try and finish this week on a high note and continue pushing this market back up there towards 370. March corn futures today, seeing a bit of back and forth action. Price rallying up above that prior day's low, seeing some good rejection up there in the mid 430s. Prices settling back just right here around this 20-day moving average. Continue to see a good battle here at the moment. If we want to see these bears continue with this downtrend, we need to get some offers down here below today's low, which came in at 428. Offers down there below that mark should get us rocking and rolling to the downside. Look for the sellers to start getting aggressive once again once we undercut that prior day's low. We could continue to chop up here and try and pick up some more sellers up in this area, but we still expect to see this big zone act as resistance and eventually turn this market lower. We still have a potential downtrend here intact in this corn market, so look for these corn prices to continue to slide. And next up, more upside in this crude oil market. Nice rally up there into the 66 mark today, coming back here and getting retesting that prior September high. At the moment, this market running up here towards 66 was going to be the next target after that breakout above that 200-day moving average, and we saw that in a hurry. So far here in the evening session, we are getting a little bit of sell-off back down here towards today's low. We should see this market try and battle it out up here near 66. This is going to be a spot where we should see more resistance continue to hold. This market should try and take it back down here towards that 200-day moving average and continue to chop up here in the mid-60s. At the moment, we should see that continue to happen and trade sideways here. If we do continue above these prior highs right here around 66.5, we could see this market continue to climb up there towards 68 as the next stop. We got a nice little breakout here going. Bulls really rallying on heavy volume today, seeming like they're serious here at the moment. So look for this 62 to 66 area to trade. Continue to see some choppy action. Bids above 66.5 could keep this market moving up there into the high 60s. Equity markets coming off of those all-time highs here today. Pretty big sell-off briefly today as the S&P and the Nasdaq were lost some ground, coming back down there towards that 50-day moving average. We did see the Nasdaq being the weakest of the bunch, being down a little over 2% at one point before getting that bounce off of that 50, coming back up here and finishing the day right around 26,000. We still are finding support down here. It was a pretty crazy sell-off here today, but still seeing good support in all the right spots. We should see this market kind of stabilize down here in today's range and try and get some bids back up here above these key levels. The uptrend still remains intact here. And we should see this market try and find some more support. Dow index finding more support at these averages as well. Still just kind of chopping up here a little bit. But we are still seeing good support in all the right places. As long as we don't undercut and get a close below that 50-day average here for the week, we are still in bullish territory. We want to see them try and fight back here and finish this week on a high note. Look for the bulls to try and take this market back up here into tomorrow's session and finish this thing on a high note. As long as we trade and continue trading above this 50-day average, this market still remains in bullish territory. And so we're going to stay long until we get that close down here below that 50-day average. Look for the upside to continue here in this stock market. That's all we got for this week. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in this week. We'll catch you over the weekend for our Week 5 Market Watch. Have a good night.